Hi, everyone, and welcome to Youth Amplified,
a podcast that inspires, empowers, and connects. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ronna. And in the spotlight today, from ideas to impact, youth in business.
Well, we're joined around the table today by Justin, Yeshal, Paul, and the president of the Liverpool Chamber of Commerce, Micheal Azzi. An interesting panel, and I'm really looking forward to our discussion today. Ronna, let's dive right in.
Let's do that. Paul, you're first. So I'm really interested, what first sparked your interest in starting a business?
So I started my business when I'm looking for a job. So there's no way for me to apply for jobs. It keep coming back to me and it's denying all the time. So when I had enough, I was like, you know what, let me start my business. I have 3 cards on my hand, a calling card from people who has suppliers. And that's when I started my business, and I started with cosmetics. So and after that, it expanded.
Wow.
The rest of the time.
Wonderful.
That's where.
Good stuff.
Micheal, looking back, what gave you the impetus to take off?
A few things. Obviously, to pay the bills. So you got to, that's the first choice. You got to find something that pays the bills. We were working part-time jobs. So I got into hospitality at a young age, as a waiter and stuff like that. So that sort of kicked off and inspired. And then, I went to uni, did marketing. Then you wanted to sort of get into the corporate world. So, and one thing sort of leads to another. You just got to get started is, I think, the important part. So that's sort of what got me started. Keep it short and sweet. Maybe twists and turns along the way.
I bet.
Definitely.
Talking about those twists and turns, failure is often part of our journey in business.
There's no failure. There is no failure. If the failure is you staying down and not getting back up, then
I love that.
But there's no failure. You live in I've lost so much. I've had so many of those I wish I did but didn't moments, should have, would have, could have, but I didn't. And that's just part of life. It's experience. It's what brought me here today, the person I am today. You sort of go back and you think, what would you do, when they ask those questions? What would you do if you could go back?
Yeah.
But I'd want to go back with the knowledge of what I have today. There's a million more things I've changed. You are definitely a product of your environment. That cliche is number one. You hang out with great people that are inspired and try and want to become successful, you're going to be the same. You hang out with people that are hanging around, smoking, whatever, chilling out, doing nothing, you're going to be the next person on the couch next door.
Now, Yeshal?
Yeah.
Now, how do you use creativity to turn challenges into opportunities?
Well, considering what I recently founded, it's called Yeshal Network, and it's a platform empowering young people to have access to safe spaces to have conversations around stuff that we usually won't talk about, such as mental health or cultural barriers or family violence. These are really intimidating topics, and so my way of using creativity is to host community events where we could use storytelling to kind of connect with one another and have fun activities where we could kind of connect with each other.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Ronna, we haven't asked Justin anything as yet.
No, we haven't.
So I'm going there. Justin, let me think. What cartoon character would make the best CEO possible of your enterprise?
SpongeBob SquarePants. He is, the character itself is the reason why I started creating. I'm he's just so whimsical and so exciting and always making something out of something. And I'm I want to do the same thing. So if SpongeBob was the CEO of my brand, I feel I could have floating shows or whatnot. I don't know what I could do, but it'd be crazy.
What about you, Paul?
I will be into Bugs Bunny, actually. He has different jobs to do in one, but he's training in one. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, Justin,
Yes.
to you again. Just thinking about your business, what have been the biggest challenges so far? Money, support, confidence, or something else?
I think it's all of the above.
Yeah.
With my industry being music, it's very difficult. It's just simply difficult to make an actual income out of it because it's a very competitive industry, and obviously there's a lot of other musicians trying to. It's very competitive. It's very like everyone is trying to just step up and do great things at the same exact time. So it's very hard to find gigs. It's very hard to make a living out of it and make it a stable thing. And it's very easy to second guess yourself a lot. So I remember when I was starting out, I was like, even now, sometimes I'm like, can I really do this? Can this be an actual safe thing that I can do? But it's all about really trying to be sure about your vision, knowing exactly what you want to do.
Michael, would you like to respond to that? I mean, you know, through your varied experiences.
Look, that's the start of it. You know, we do a lot of work with a lot of students and stuff like that, and I always tell them, when I tell them that we have a few businesses and we're doing different things in different industries, but the biggest thing is how and I say to them, whatever you choose, you're not going to be the only person in that industry.
Yeah.
So how do you stand out to your competition?
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. So when you do that, again, when I say, you need to surround yourself by good people, the add-on to that is your network.
Now, Paul, let's turn to you.
Okay.
Yes. Now, how important do you think is having mentors, supporters, or even peers on the same journey?
It depends, because I experienced the pain of being a mentor, or like helping my relatives helping me out with my business. But after like a long run with them, actually destroyed my business. So as a Filipino myself, they actually were like, I can help you with your business, like to support you and so forth. But when the business is like growing up, and they're telling me like, you shouldn't put this business into like social media. It's like, that's how am I gonna like sell my products or sell my suppliers products?
Yes.
But after a while of now following them, they're like showing them their back side of the red line, so which is like their own realistic of what they wanted me to do. And so when I said like, when they told me the actual truth about themselves, like they want me to be a doctor or nurses, they're like, that's what they wanted. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. They completely wipe out my website. So I had to start my own business from the ground out. And after that, I was like realizing that, supporting from your family or relatives, it's not a go-to. The only thing I went from my choice is my own self, where I had to start from the beginning, from my own start of my life. So that's what I did. Now, when my businesses continue to grow,
Yes.
I didn't ask out some people to help me out. I asked my friends to like, hey, let's join together. So my team, actually my friends, we actually
Yes.
go out with this business. So that's what we
Right.
help each other. So that's that's
Thank
why.
you for sharing that.
Filipino, sorry guys.
That's the lesson learned.
That's excellent. Michael, in the roles that you have worn and that you are wearing, what do you think decision makers can do to better support our young people who, in enterprise?
Look, there's a lot to learn for the younger generation, and I say that because my children are same age, and I'm trying to teach them. In society at the moment, it's very hard because, and I say this with all due respect to a lot of the kids, they're not emotionally strong enough because of the system at the moment. Whether you have a participation certificate or they're not getting taught the hard truth. And while at a young age that might be okay, they don't need to know this, but it's causing the issue later on, where the young guys cannot take criticism, positive criticism. They don't have that hard work ethics or whatever, for whatever reason it is, but they're very important. So the younger generation that I try and teach them is that, guys, there's still an element of hard work. You're going to get criticized. You need to rise above that. You can't take it personally. Just keeping it simple for them so that when the shit hits the fan at this level, it's not a total meltdown and a breakdown. Is that, hey, nothing comes easy. We're going to have ups and downs, and you need to be mentally prepared to say, okay, we're down at the moment. We need to regather, reorganize ourselves, and let's start climbing again. And that's what business owners need to teach these young guys first.
Yeah.
Everything else will find its place. The money will come. You know what I mean? The entrepreneurship will come.
Yeah.
But your mindset and that space needs to be protected first, because if your foundation is not good,
Yeah.
you're not. It's going to collapse.
Yes.
You know. True.
They're excellent insights. Thanks, Micheal. Justin,
Yes.
star jumps, karaoke sing-alongs, random dance breaks. What actually fuels your creativity the most?
Ooh. What fuels my creativity the most? I think it's conversations.
Okay.
Yeah. I a lot of my creative outlets come from conversations I've had. For example, like the newest song that I just put out, called "Open Up." It's a song about being unapologetically you, and that was based on a conversation that I had with a friend who was struggling with their self-identity, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, no one really needs to explain themselves when they're being themselves, and I think being yourself is like the greatest thing. So I made that song about being yourself, and then I've done other like songs based on my other conversations that I've had, like this album that I'm working on. They're all basically a huge compendium of a lot of experiences and dialogue and discussions that I've had with people in my life. So yeah, really talking is my number one thing.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah.
Or star jumps too, that works.
I know.
I'm going to start jumps today.
You know, I had a lot.
Gosh. Yes, sure.
Yeah, first thing, I'm up. Jump jacks, hit them.
Yeshal, with your experience, do you feel, young entrepreneurs have a responsibility to make their businesses socially or environmentally conscious moving forward?
Definitely. I think that if you can start a business, why not do something that will make the world a better place as well?
Justin, where do you see your enterprise 5 years from now?
Before I think forward, I want to think back. What was I doing 5 years ago? I was starting out 5 years ago.
Wow.
So I feel like looking back, I've grown a lot. I've done a lot of things since then. I've finally started putting my foot into the actual industry and doing great things like this, and working on music with such talented people, making music videos with such talented people, shows, everything. I've been doing more than I thought I could, because I started without really the mindset of this being an actual thing. But I always had an idea that I wanted to do something important that helps me and helps around people around. So I thought, okay, music could be the outlook, and I guess growing that into the now and going into the future, I could see myself doing the same thing, but a little bit more. I guess my definitive answer is we'll see. I'm excited though. I'm very excited.
I'm not laughing at the answer, I'm laughing at the doodle. It's kind of SpongeBob.
I was like looking at it like, this is
My busy. I'm up as I drop notes. So
I was thinking, I was like,
my it's always in here.
yeah,
True. But talking about, what you just said, let's go back to that. How important do you think a business plan is, Micheal? It's so touted.
it's very important, but you know why? Because, no offense, you might get lucky in what you're doing if you're half-assing it. There's that question mark. But if you put your full attention to it and you've got your plan, it'll happen. I believe that. If you've got in your head, and again, I had to learn the way I am now. So probably when I was your age, I probably was a little bit more aggressive and I want it, that was me. Now I think about things a little bit different because I've got family and I've got other responsibilities, but I'm still in the same mindset. If I've got my goal, how do I get my goal? That's that's, you know, you sort of put your future here, that this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And then your plan is, how do I get there?
Right.
And if it doesn't, where did I go wrong? Because you need to be accountable.
Yeah.
And that's the part that a lot of people miss, especially the young guys. They're thinking, man, I'm going to be here and I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to be the superstar and rah. Oh, wait, there's a bit of a journey before you get here, my friend.
Yeah.
There's, you know, equipment, there's,
My auntie,
you know, rent, the social media, staff,
Yeah.
you know, so there's a few little, you know, steps that we need to get to before we get here.
No, yeah.
And that's the part that the plan gives you. And you know what I mean? So if you want to look back and say, okay, well, you know, why didn't I get here?
Yeah.
It sort of gives you that sort of information that you need. So that's why if you want your goal, and you don't have to, you know, because you're still finding your way, but having that goal and then having the plan is key. Because
Yeah.
it keeps you driven and motivated. Say, you know, otherwise you're just going to veer off in different tangents and say, oh yeah, because your heart wasn't there in the first place. It was, but it wasn't, if it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you got that plan and I want this, and then you start making yourself accountable, and every day you get up and you're working, taking that step to get what you want, you'll get there.
Just continuing on that, how important do you think it is for the community to support these young people on their journey?
Very important. Look, it's very important. Having that community behind you is always great, because especially if it's positive, you know, like I said, you're gonna deal with a lot, especially maybe as an artist or so, you know, like all of us are gonna have some sort of negative in our life.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. That's just human nature and that's just life. But having a positive community behind you, man, it's fantastic.
Fantastic. On that happy note, the clock is ticking away there. So thank you, Justin, Yeshal, Paul, and Micheal for joining us today.
Till next fortnight, let's continue to inspire, empower, and connect. And remember, your voice
Matters.